How's it going, Critter family? I hope you all are doing well. I finally have a couple of days off, so I wanted to really get into my backlog of videos that I've wanted to review and cover, and topics that I want to talk about. So today I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be spending the next little while just catching up on a whole bunch of videos so that I can slowly edit it and release them over the next, I don't know, couple of weeks, few weeks, however many I happen to get done. Don't mind the nasally sound. I'm getting over a cold from a little while back, so if I do end up coughing or if I'll make sure to cut that out, but yeah. Anyway, so hope you guys are doing well. Today we're just starting with this guy. So we're going to start with this guy, Ethan Steinberg. How to train a dog to heel in only 15 minutes. Hashtag dog trainer, off leash dog, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to give my honest opinion on these videos. You know, I like to give this little disclaimer that there's nothing personal against these people. You don't have to follow what I say. You don't have to do what I say just because I say it. I'm just I'm trying to clear up the fog that these people kind of, you know, put into their videos, and I'm trying to tell you that there's another way to do it, that you don't have to do this, and that it's not fair to the dog to teach them to heel in just 15 minutes, because heeling is an advanced behavior. If your dog can't even walk on a loose leash without pulling you, you're not ready for heeling. That's like going from learning a tricycle to riding a motorcycle. You need to learn, and you need to give your dog time to learn, and you can teach them appropriately and humanely how to walk next to you. But all these trainers are so obsessed with heel, being by my side, being in control. Don't you dare get 1 foot in front of me, 1 step in front of me. It's just about, the humans are reinforcing the idea of control in other humans. That's why I do this. That's why I do what I do. I'm not going to have this tangent in every video, but it's been a little while, and I just want to remind everyone, and I guess a reminder to myself, why I do what I do, is that I'm not saying that you have to follow me. I'm not saying I'm the greatest. I am just a dog trainer. I know how to get results without using or relying on or resorting to pain, force, fear, pain compliance, metal tools, electric stimulation or shock or citronella or choke chains or collars or slip leads, any of that. I can teach a dog to heel without anything on them, and I will put a link to how I taught my Shiba to heel, or an example of how I was showing you how to teach him to heel without anything on him. That'll be a link in the description below, as well as I'll put some snippets in here. We'll look at how I taught him to heel after this video. So if you're ready, then let's get started.
This is how I train a dog to heel in just 15 minutes. So here we are live with the prong collar. If he gets away from me, we're going to give him a quick pop just to discourage him from being in front.
Now, I just want to state that this video is muted, so we don't know if this dog is giving any kind of a yelp or, any kind of vocalization. It is a Brittany. It looks like a Brittany. Could be anything. So this dog is probably very high energy. They're made to work with people. You don't need to use the prong collar. If you're going to use one and you want to teach your dog snippy and snappy really quick because either you don't have time, or you think you don't have time, or you won't make the time, or you're lazy, or you think that, training should be quick and easy, and it should be, but not like this.
In front of me. You can already see here by the second U-turn,
so he didn't reward him
with me. He gets paid to reinforce their good behavior. Moving on to phase 2.
Okay, so he also had an e-collar on. As you see, he's not using it, but the dog has a shock collar on, as is this. And if you go back in the last still, or the last frame, it looks like you can see the darn brick right there. So this dog has a very tight shock collar, and I do this because this is like the little prongs that are digging into his neck. And he also has a metal prong collar on his neck. The guy's not using the shock with this, but really? The prong and the e-collar, the prong anyway, the pop is so unnecessary, especially if he's going to reward the dog afterwards. Then just get rid of the middleman. You don't even need to correct the dog. The dog is you are forcing the dog, not really teaching, you're forcing them to comply with a human belief that it makes no sense to them. Why should they be punished for that?
For good behavior. Moving on to phase 2 is the sudden stop. I'm going to walk with him at my side and stop on a dime.
Ouch.
His paws pass my feet, he gets a little pop.
No, he says little pop. When you have a metal prong collar around your throat, this dog is showing signs of stress anyway. Who knows how hot it is, how long they've actually been doing this. He says it's 15 minutes. The dog is also distracted by the camera person. I know I'm going to be like chasing rabbits over a million holes, but bear with me. You have a metal prong collar on you, versus a slip lead. You go up in leverage, in pain compliance. That's why they have prong collars versus... That is why they have a difference in prong collars. And this is a star mark collar. Although it's plastic, it still digs in to the neck. So this still has more correction power, I don't know if you can see anything there, than a regular slip lead, and this probably has more correction power than this. So now we have this prong collar on. Just being tight like this is uncomfortable, so he says it's just a little pop. I mean, I'm doing this with my fingers and I can feel it. He's using leverage of the leash and also leverage of the pain and more discomfort that is caused by the prong collar. Dogs are very sensitive. They can't tell you exactly how much it hurts. Clearly, they can show you because they obey when you correct them. No dog needs to wear any of these.
I'm trying to keep him just by my side and stopping just next to me. We repeat this exercise until he's fully engaged and conditioned to sit when I stop.
Doesn't even want the food. Did he even take the food? Let's go back.
Next to me. We repeat this exercise until he's fully engaged and conditioned to sit.
Nope, didn't want the food. The dog is stressed. When a dog refuses food, it's because they're stressed. So this dummy can't even reward the dog, even though he says he's rewarding. Even if the dog takes the food, doesn't mean that they're being rewarded by this. Their reward is preventing correction. And there's forms of correction. There's, no reward by not giving them, withholding that reward, not allowing them to go say hello to a friend or the neighbor or get pets. There's levels of it. And there's also another level of correction is this plastic star mark collar. And another level of correction above that might be this prong collar, which there is a difference because these are smaller in diameter than this. So he can't even reward the dog now.
Sporadic movement. This is where we start playing the game. Follow the leader, baby.
No, you're ambushing the dog. You're making them a total psychopath because not actually psychopath, but you're making them neurotic because they're trying to watch you sporadically move around so they don't get corrected. And they can't read your mind, but if they don't read your mind, then they get a correction, which is, again, unfair.
Fine. Everything we did before with some inside and outside turns, as well as changing
shock
up the
collar
speed.
still on the dog.
We're really
He's not
looking
using
to
it,
see the continuous engagement,
stress dog,
him paying attention and sticking back.
Bumping into his head. This is a master-slave relationship. I was trying to be patient in the beginning, but he's also wearing sunglasses when he's working with the dog, making it hard for the dog to view your eyes. They like to make eye contact with you. You could teach them to make eye contact. They're trying to take orders from you or listen to you. Sporadic movement is baloney, especially if you're teaching a dog to heel in the first step. It's unfair to the dog. If anybody did this to him, I'm sure he would be whining and crying and saying, blah, 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 and have a problem with it. Any other human would. They have a right to, because nobody wants to be just jerked and popped around for not being able to follow the leader quick enough. This dog is stressed.
We'll introduce the command here. Rinse, wash, and repeat. If this was helpful,
this is a stressed tongue. I can't zoom in enough, but this dog is so stressed. So he stopped taking treats. We don't know if it's really hot out or not, but this is a stressed tongue where, his tongue is outside of his body. He's so mentally overstimulated. I always say that, a dog with its tongue flopping out is the equivalent of a horse with a wet saddle blanket. You can take a horse and put him in a round pen and run them for 15 minutes straight, chasing the heck out of them, flooding them, and they're going to have a soaking wet saddle blanket. Or you can take them out for a 3-mile ride, just walking on a trail, going through, the woods and this and that, and you'll have a wet saddle blanket that way. You bond more one way and learn more one way than the other. So for this dog, as a Brittany, if he had been hunting and running for 10 plus miles, I would expect this kind of tongue. But he's been working with this guy for supposedly 15 minutes. And his tongue is flopping out like that. So, that's that. Don't put these on yourself. Don't do what I do. You can train your dog however you want to. This is just how I see things. I'm trying to pull the wool off of people's eyes and try to, I'm trying to give you information that these guys hide in between the lines. I'm trying to teach you to read between the lines and see a picture for what it's worth and not just what people tell you it is. So, anyway, thank you for watching. We're going to be doing a few more videos by this guy, but I'm going to give you a quick clip of how I taught Adonis to walk in a heel with nothing on him. Okay, so here we have myself. This is a few years ago. Sorry, I'll take this off. I forgot this was on. Let's see. So here we have myself. This was a few years ago in my old apartment with my good boy Adonis. Rest in peace, little man. At this point in time, I think he was 9 years old, and I was just showing you an example of how I teach them to heel off leash. Nothing on him. I'm using a treat.
Have my hand, another step, he follows, mark, reward. Now I'm not saying any verbals here just yet.
I'm not forcing him. He's not tied to me with a leash. He could have moved there and I wouldn't have cared. He's free to go and do whatever he wants. And I'm working indoors by a wall to set him up for success. You don't just go out into the middle of traffic or the middle of downtown to teach your dog this. That's just stupid, and it's just setting your dog up for failure.
So again, sorry dude, I dropped that one. Let me get that.
I dropped it, he could have gotten it, he didn't.
So again, it's
care.
just in between these two fingers. You can have it in between like this, whatever you want. The hand is just a visual there. We can do an outside turn, where I have my hand here, it's empty now.
And he's a Shiba Inu, for anyone who's interested. He is not a Border Collie. Dumb people have been calling him a Border Collie, like, oh, you can't train a Border Collie, blah, blah, blah. Okay, he's a Shiba, and he was very well trained.
He follows it. Then I can mark
I have time to give him the reward, although it's kind of slow.
And then we can continue again. I have an empty hand here. We take a step. He follows. And his
I'm
goal
working
can be
very
to
quickly in this, just to show you an example.
Touch the hand. Just follow it as a visual.
Good boy.
He doesn't have to touch it. He can. I mean, he's licking it. Whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. It's just here as a visual target for him because it keeps him in position.
His birthday will be coming up June 13th. And then his anniversary of his 1-year anniversary of since he's left us will be July 17th.
He's not going ahead of me. He's not lagging behind.
And I don't care if he is.
We'll do it one more time, and then I'll show you what an inside turn would look like, where you're turning into the dog. So I'd be turning into him. A lot of times,
I'm moving him out of the way. I'm not bumping into his head. Although I make this kind of confusing.
Move away from me. I just move them back behind me. So we'll do that again, where I turn to face him. I kind of turn into him.
In the head.
I can turn this way, and he just kind of circles back
this to be kind of confusing,
me. So I kind of, I go back and face him.
He's used to, and I might explain this too, when I would tell him side, I would do this, and he would go around me to the left side.
I'm to go on the left side because he's used to going to the right around me. So if I were to say side, he's used to doing that, and then we walk on the left-hand side.
So I'm teaching him to heel on the right side.
Just for the sake of using this wall and teaching you firsthand with him being on the right-hand side. Good boy, heel.
I didn't expect him to follow me. He did.
So that was an example of using a verbal cue. I don't use this with him a lot, like really ever. Really, it's just the behavior that I just work on with him.
He's a good boy.
Heel. Good man.
I didn't expect anything there either.
So again, that's him on the left-hand side. And if we want him to work on the right-hand side, then we'll move this way. And this is more of a test for myself to see if he understands the verbal cue. On the right hand side, I can probably use the same thing. So I'm going to have my empty hand. Here is his visual.
Got a
I'm
little
going to take a step. Heel. Good boy.
He's
So
like,
I took,
hey, there was an
3 or 4 steps.
your face.
Get that behavior in there.
So he's my good
Up.
boy.
Good boy.
He's my good little man. And then here's a quick
Ready?
example
Heel.
of, I think, me getting his attention. So
Good boy. So he's moving with my body, with my hand signal. He's not necessarily moving because of the verbal and the behavior
Good
right
boy.
now. And to show you that, we can test it. I'm not going to have the hand. I'm just going to say the cue. Heel. Good boy. So he did follow that time. Well, I'm adding the verbal to it. Heel.
he gets
Got him distracted.
I don't care. I'm
Good
not
boy. So
popping
he's
him. I'm
catching
not
on anyway.
telling him anything.
So I would start with.
He's allowed to be
you start this
a
way
living
with-
creature
against a wall. So
with
we'll
a
have him go
mind
back
of his
up
own.
against the wall. Good boy. This is real life training. Just showing you, teaching him a new
Yeah,
behavior.
so the guy said, we're here live with a prong collar. Okay, this is me live with nothing. With the 9-year-old Sheba. So, that was just an example of how I did it, how you can do it. You don't have to do it my way. You don't have to do it anybody's way. It's not my way. It's just, I'm just using, this is how I teach. It's not my method. I just use positive reinforcement. I try to have respect for the animal. So, hope you enjoyed that. Hope you all are doing well. Say howdy do to all your little critters. Give them some kind of loving for me. Thanks for watching. And until next time, practice peace, patience, and positivity.